welcome, everybody, to Make It Make Sense. I'm your host, Monique Pressley. Thank you so much for joining us, where we try to do it exactly like the title says, make it make sense. We're taking the things that are confusing, the areas where you may need clarity, and today, the things that need to be corrected, okay? Y'all know I love my C's when I'm talking about how to make it make sense. The things that need to be corrected so that we can get on the right track. I don't have to tell you, if you have been following along with the shows and with the content that we've been posting ever since the day that Trump's henchman, Harmeet Dillon, wrote that letter to Governor Abbott filled with ridiculousness and lies and all manner of BS, saying, we need y'all to find us 5 more seats. We've been covering this story. One, because we know that there's more Black people in Texas than anywhere else in this country. Two, because we know that these people will steal what they cannot earn. And this was another attempt to do that. And three, damn it, this is my home state. So yes, I do care extra. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Unabashedly, unapologetically, I care extra. But in the past 24 hours, in the past 24 and a little some change hours, the Texas Democrats in the state house have gone the extra mile. They are making Herculean efforts. They have broken quorum in order to stop these crazy gerrymandered districts that came out of committee, that passed out a panel. In order to stop the full vote, they have quite literally fled the state. We've seen them in New York. They are in undisclosed locations right now. I'm not saying where they are right now. Ain't nobody's business where they are. You know where they're not? They're not in Texas, where the governor and his folks can send out warrants and get them arrested for what exactly? For what? For breaking quorum? I'll let my guest explain all this to you, because my sis in the struggle, my sister-in-law, my Texas sister, state representative Jolanda Jones, who I have known for a good number of years now. We share a friend in common, Attorney Van Crump, and she is buzzing up the networks, y'all. She's buzzing it up just to me, doing what a Texas woman does, just telling the truth and not being afraid to do it. But this is her first time on Make It Make Sense. So can we give her a big welcome, my sis Jolanda Jones? Hey sis. Hey.
Hey, look, tell the truth and shame the devil.
Tell the truth and shame the devil, and all the people that work with the devil, for the devil, chief imps of the devil, they all deserve to be shamed right now. But I just want to thank you. I just want to thank you for, I know it's your job to do, and I know you care about the people you represent. So I'm not saying it like it's something that's out of the norm for you all to be doing your jobs, but there are so many in my part of the world, in DC, who are bending the knee and pledging fealty and not doing anything close to their job. So I do appreciate that. Thank you, Jolanda. We appreciate you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
What can you tell us? Like, we know y'all are not on the run. Y'all are out of the area. and
Sure.
And I know people are calling it running, and you did have to leave. But maybe if you could start by explaining to us how breaking quorum matters and makes a difference in the moment that we're in.
So why don't I do this first? Why don't I tell you what breaking quorum is?
Yes.
And then after that, I'll tell you why it matters. Or actually, after that, I'll show you why it matters by telling you what happened. And then you'll probably be able to figure out why it matters. So breaking quorum is this. In Texas, we have 150 people in the state house. There are 88 Republicans and there are 62 Democrats. So I don't know if you know math, but 62 don't never beat 88. And in order to conduct business in the house, you have to have at least 100 members present.
Mm-hmm.
And so what you need, I'm gonna ask you, because I'm about to show that you're a mathematician. If you got 88 Republicans, how many Democrats do you need to make it to 100? What's the magic number?
I don't know. Tell us. I went to law school.
Okay, 12. Okay. So now, if you need 100 out of 150, then you need 51 of the 150 not to show up. If
Yeah.
51 of the 150 don't show up, then you don't have 100, which means you are breaking quorum because you need quorum to conduct any business in the state. So
Yeah.
there are 62 of us, and we need at least 51 of us to break quorum so that they cannot conduct business. So that is what breaking quorum mean. And let me be clear, I am a proud quorum breaker. Let me tell you why we knew we needed to break quorum. Again, because 62 never beats 88. Just to sit in the Texas legislature where there's literally hate against Black people, brown people, gay people, poor people, where they literally, because they outnumber us and they don't need us to pass anything. For anything to pass, you have to have a majority of 150. So you need 76. So if we have quorum and it gets on the floor, all they need is 76 to pass it. So
Yeah.
the math wasn't mathing for us. So we needed to figure out a way to stop something that is racist. Here's how it all started. During the session, so I was on the redistricting committee, and we get our committee assignments in January. And I thought, why am I on the redistricting committee? This ain't a redistricting year. We didn't meet one time. And somebody was like, oh, it's just a standing committee. Okay, fine, whatever.
Look at
And,
God.
look, God put me in all the right places, okay?
Look at God.
Because I was damn sure questioning, why am I on this committee? We ain't gonna do nothing. So in spring, we start hearing chatter about redistricting. Because by this time, Trump's numbers are coming out and he sucks and nobody likes him, right? And people are really hurting. I mean, this is serious. So then and let me tell you something, the Texas Capitol is like a bad soap opera. If you ever
Yeah.
watch Pine Valley with all my children, everybody know what everybody's doing. If enough people
Yeah.
are chattering about it, it's true. So I immediately start learning the software to redistrict, to draw lines and stuff so that I could, if, if we ended up having redistricting, I wanted to be prepared. So we go through the session. We have nothing. The governor calls a special session and he doesn't tell us the redistricting is on it. He puts other things, bad things, but they don't have those bad things can't change America. The only thing that can change America is redistricting.
Yeah.
So like about maybe 2 weeks before the special session was supposed to start, he puts redistricting on the call and it becomes his priority. He knew what he was doing all the time. So I was on the redistricting committee. I actually was, again, preparing. And at some point, which we can talk about later, I ended up stepping down from the redistricting committee. But as a state rep, we can attend meetings and we can ask questions of witnesses and colleagues. So I went to every meeting. So he had 3 meetings, right? And there were no maps. You're familiar with legislation. When people testify on something, they testify to a bill that has been filed where you can anticipate this bill will harm me this way, or this bill will hurt me or will help me this way. And you testify for or against the bill. Well, they had 3 hearings, one in Austin, Texas, which is our capital, one in Houston, Texas, which is where I live in Congressional District 18, which was one of the targeted districts, and in Arlington, Texas, which is a suburb of Dallas. And so we have no idea what the maps are going to look like. So when people are coming to testify about, I would argue 99.9% of the people said, we don't want any redistricting. It is mid-district, it's mid-decade. There is no new census. The numbers are the same. There is no reason.
Well, and wait a minute, I want to interrupt you there, Representative, because it's not just that there's nothing new, like it's not the decennial time period to do it, but we played one of the clips before about the map where the man was saying, well, we don't have the map yet because I was saying they're waiting for Dear Leader to send the map, but also the prior redistricting is still the subject of litigation. Like
For sure.
LULAC versus Abbott, they've had the hearings, but there's no decision. So the old maps were sucky and terrible already, and now they're coming to do it again and claiming through the White House that they were doing it wrong before, that the districts were drawn in a way that was beneficial to minority groups before, when we know that that's not true.
So but let me be clear. They actually testified, the Attorney General, Senator Joan Huffman, who was over redistricting in the Senate, that it was not racially, they
Right.
weren't racially drawn. So now they have conflicting sides. But in any case, we go on, and so we set up a process that people would have to come and testify as neutral because there was no bill. So
Yeah.
for the most part, everybody's like, hey, we don't need to redistrict this. We haven't had a new census. Things are the same. And like you said, the other litigation is still going on. Why wouldn't we
Yeah.
wait to see how that turns out? And so in order for you to testify, the chair at the beginning of every hearing with no map would say, now you have to testify as neutral because we don't have a map. And so, you can't say you're for it or you can't say you're against it. And so it was very, very, very frustrating, right? Because this, you're a lawyer. In future litigation, they're going to say everybody was neutral. There wasn't
Yeah.
anybody against it, even though the testimony was overwhelmingly against it.
Against it. Yeah.
And they had, and each hearing had 5 hours of testimony, with each speaker getting 2 minutes to testify neutral on a map they don't know how it's going to affect them. Now, mind you, back at the ranch in Pine Valley, people are gossiping. Oh, the maps are going to be filed on Wednesday, and then we're going to have a marathon hearing on Friday. But again, when you ask the chair, Mr. Chair, where are the maps? Why can't we see the maps? Why are we forced to say we're neutral when we're not, when we're against it? And we literally can't testify to how these maps are going to hurt us. And of course, one of the people who was asking those questions was me. There were a number of hearings where I spoke with Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, and we fleshed it out. 2 Black women lawyers who graduated from the University of Houston Law School who don't know our place, but I digress. In any case, so they have these kangaroo court hearings. On Wednesday, the map drops. We look at it,
Yeah.
and here's what the map does.
Yeah.
Here's what the map says. The map says they're going to pit. So first of all, they identified some congressional districts that they wanted to target. They targeted CD 18, which is where I live.
Yeah.
Congresswoman Jackson Lee, Congressman Turner represented that there. They targeted CD 9, which is where Congressman Al Green lives. They targeted CD 33, which is where Congressman Mark Vesey lives. And they targeted CD 30, which is where Congresswoman Crockett lives. So we only have 4 Black state reps in the Texas delegation. So they literally picked the 4 Black state reps and they pitted them against each other. Mm-hmm. So they literally moved Congresswoman Crockett into CD 33, into Vesey's seat. So that's where her house now sits with the redistricted maps. I'm sorry, the racistly redistricted maps, because let's be clear, this is about racism, okay? And nothing else. This ain't about power grabbing. This is about racism. And then they took Tarrant County, which is where VC is from, and he was very strong. They moved it somewhere else. So arguably, he and Congresswoman Crockett are going to have to fight each other for 1 seat when there used to be 2, and they undermined their districts. They took out core people in their districts, moved down to Texas, which is where I am, Congressional District 18. They literally moved Congressman Green, who currently represents Congressional District 9, into Congressional District 18. And then they took about 70.7% of his constituents and put them in CD 18, and then took some historically important districts out of CD 18 and put them in Congressional District 29, which is a Latina congressional district. So for example, if you knew Congressman Turner, he always talked about being from the faux. He talked about being from Acres Homes. They took Acres Homes out of CD 18 and put it into a Latino district. So they did a lot of stuff, and they took away economic engines. They took away Love Field Airport from Congresswoman Crockett. They took away Intercontinental Airport from CD 18. So they did a whole bunch of stuff, and they stretched it out so that we no longer had the political concentration in redistricting terminology. It's called cracking and packing, cracking our communities and packing them into other communities to dilute our voting strength so that our voters cannot elect a congressperson of their choice. So they have this kangaroo court hearing. We get up there, And to make matters worse, I felt like I was in a bad episode of White Man's Burden. You had the chair and the map drawer well, actually the map drawer for the most part telling us, sit down, be quiet. Y'all need to be happy that we even having hearings because the law don't require us to give you no hearings. And how dare you say racist? And I told them, let me be clear, this racism, you ain't gonna make me be ashamed to call it racism. And don't ask me why I'm pulling a race card, because here's the deal. I'm gonna pull a race card 1,000 times out of 1,000 as long as you racist. So if I gotta do a French cut and pull a race card 12 times and do it, I'm gonna do that, because the worst thing you can do to a racist is call them a racist. And white fragility is real. They don't want us to call them out like they are. And so,
but as you and I both know, and everything that you're saying is true, and it is important to call a thing, but it is also legally important. I was listening to Sherlyn Eiffel talk about this yesterday, and I heard you. I listened to you this morning on Hot Topics on the Don Lemon show, explaining that there's no such thing with the Supreme Court as partisan gerrymandering, but there is, at least as of today, still law protecting against race-based, racial gerrymandering. So as people are doing messaging around this, they need to fully understand and be willing to say that that is what is happening.
And let me be clear. You and I both know this. We are both trial lawyers. So God gave us a certain set of skills. If I'm the Republicans and a black Democrat is saying it's a power grab, they're going to be my witness number one. And I'm going to put them on the stand and I'm going to say, isn't it true that this was a power grab? It necessarily includes, and it's not racism. And they're going to say, maybe the person says, yes, it is racist. And they say, but that's not what you said, right? So you changing your testimony now. So you're telling the truth then, or you're telling the truth now. So every time you don't say racism, every time you don't call a thing, you're hurting legal cases in the future. And so we go on, they have this hearing and they didn't have notice like they normally do. And we kept, again, hearing the chatter. And we knew we needed to get up out of there because if they get a quorum, they can shove it down our throats, and they don't even need all the Republicans to show up because they have 88 and they only need 76. So we left, and that's what we did. And we need to, we need to stay gone is what we need to do. And as I was saying earlier this morning on Don Lemon, I'm heartbroken. I have a brand new grandbaby who is beautiful. I love her. She's my first, she's my only, my son ain't had no more yet, but I hopefully I'll have some more. And so I miss her. But you know what? I'm going to have to do with like FaceTiming, because it's interesting. When we were closer to Jim Crow, Black people could actually see the lynchings. They could see the separate facilities. They could see the redlining. They could see those things, right? They could see Dr. King get assassinated. They could see Malcolm X get assassinated. Yeah. They can see Ruby have to be escorted into school. And so you knew that we weren't treated like the white folks. But then integration came, and then we thought we made it, right? And some people did. And so we are so far removed from that, we don't know how bad it can be. So, and that's the problem I think we have now, because during segregation, we had a mentality of, look, we got to save ourselves. So I'm gonna look out for your kid. It took a village, right? It's an African concept. So we did these things, but now it's all men for themselves. And
we have to be back there. And I participated. I know you're gonna probably be speaking to Angela Rye later in Native Land Pod. But one of the things that we all came together and founded was State of the People. And it first started as a 24-hour marathon the night that Trump was saying whatever he wanted to say about the state of this country. And we knew that was garbage. So we came together for the marathon and then went on tour after that around the country. I'm still lobbying. Texas, with all these Black people, needs to be one of the stops. So hopefully in the next round. But one of the things that we recognized was coming together in community, mutual aid, taking care of each other, ensuring that if they don't provide health care, we have the means to make sure there's health care. If there are no grocery stores, if there's no fresh food, we have a means to make sure that happens. They're getting rid of special education. They're getting rid of all of the things that would go normally with a free and appropriate public education. We have to figure out a way to provide those things. But what people are asking me, because we posted something yesterday, Jolanda, and I posted ways that people could assist and support, but people are asking, one, how long are you going to have to do this? Because we know, at least from what we're hearing, this session is over, but the governor could come back as early as August 23rd. Tell us what the details are on that and how long you all may have to stay out there. And then tell us, too, what the needs are in terms of financial support or other ways that we can be of help in this hour.
So let me be clear. Thank you. We do need your help. This session is not over. This session doesn't end until August 19th. So we need to
Okay.
be where we are, wherever we are, until at least then. But the governor can call other special sessions. Our special sessions last for 30 days a pop. So last session, in the 88th session, this is the 89th session. In the 88th session, we had 4 special sessions where the governor was trying to shove his policies down our throat. And so we don't know how long we have to be gone. It depends on how many special sessions the governor calls. It's that simple. But you can give, if you want to help us, to the Texas Legislative Black Caucus. I'm the treasurer of the Texas Legislative Black Caucus, elected by my colleagues. And I believe you have the website or the link to be able to give, because we are away. It costs to live while we are away. But we did it, and we said we'd figure it out later, because we could not figure it out in Texas, because for sure he would issue civil subpoenas and warrants to take us into custody to force us to be on the House floor. And so there's not a snowball's chance in hell that I'm going anywhere where they can come and snatch me like they doing with ICE, to take me to the House floor, expressly for them to have a quorum so they can shove this racist redistricting, surgically precise plan down our throats. Because people were asleep when they did the racist redistricting in North Carolina. We weren't paying attention, and people didn't understand how what happens in North Carolina can affect you in Tupelo, Mississippi. So there were 7 Democratic congressmen and 7 Republican congressmen in North Carolina. They rigged the game, they racistly redistricted, and they stole 3 seats, 3 Democratic seats. So ding, 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 ding. In Congress right now, there's a 3 Republican majority. That came because they stole North Carolina. And so what we are doing, in addition to quorum breaking, like staying away from Texas, is we are going to governors across these United States of America who are Democratic in Democratic states, and we're asking them to redistrict. So just like they redistricted and stealing Democratic seats, we want for them to redistrict and get rid of Republican seats, because we have been kind. Like if Democrats are leading in whatever states, we are being kind, and we are being cordial to Republicans to allow them to have a seat, because we could crack them and pack them and separate them where they don't have any representation. And so, and let me be clear to anybody who says the moral high road. So I'm not when they go low, we go high. When they go low, I'm gonna go lower, right? Because here's what I learned being from the hood. I'm from the corner of Scott and McGowan. Look it up. That's 3rd Ward, Houston, Texas. I'm not from the bougie part of 3rd Ward. I'm from the bottom part of 3rd Ward. And I'm not bragging, but I saw my first dead body at 4 years old outside of my grandmother's house. Again, nothing to brag about, just giving you a little background about where I'm from. And sometimes you can't be nice to people. They mistake your kindness for weakness, which is exactly what the Republicans will do. So if somebody punches me in my face, I'm going to cut your neck off. You want to know why? Because I can punch you in your face. You can punch me in my face, and it's just gonna go back and forth, back and forth. But if I punch you hard enough or cut your neck off, you're gonna say, you know what? I don't want no parts of her. So I'm gonna find somebody else to mess with. And I think that that's what we have to do as Democrats. I'm tired of us trying to do things the way that it's always been done, and where we are respecting people, but people ain't respecting us. My grandmother said to me a long time ago, sweetheart, if you allow yourself to be a rug, people will step on you. Well, I'm tired of people stepping on us. So guess what? I ain't gonna be no rug. I ain't gonna let, as a Texas Democrat, be no damn body's rug for Trump or Abbott, and we're going to fight back and we're going to fight harder. And whatever you give us, expect a greater response to it.
Well, and the
So
thing
I'm
that
not
you
going to be doing
say,
this tit for tat. I'm not
the
going to do
thing
this.
that you say about the majority, I think this is another area where people don't realize, one, how much their votes matter, and especially when the majority is so slim, how many life-saving or life-taking decisions can get made on one vote. You live in Texas 18. What we talked about yesterday is the hypocrisy of this diabolical governor. Y'all been gone a day and he's trying to send out bogus arrest warrants to make you come to work, but he leaves open Texas 18 since Sylvester Turner died March 5th and isn't having an election until November because they knew they needed to not have this 400 and something thousand people, no, 773,000 people in Texas 18 have gone without representation this whole time. And the Medicare and Medicaid and big ugly dead ass bill, it passed by one vote.
And trust me, if I was in CD 18 then, I'd have voted against it and it would have failed. So, and you said he's telling us to come back to work. Excuse me, Mr. Governor, I am working. I have a district office right now that is taking care of my constituents. Because that is what we do. My office doesn't need for me to be in Houston. And let me be clear, when I'm in Austin, I'm not in my district office helping people. So I'm not about to let you be a bully. Your damn show ain't bullying me. I am going to stand up for my constituents because I'm in a position to do so and deal with it. I'm going to need you to stop all that damn whining. Right? I don't understand why you whining because you can't do what you do. You literally have had, as you said, Monique, you have caused Congressional District 18 constituents to not have services. So, for example, you got a passport problem. You normally call your congressperson and say, hey, I have a passport problem. You're not getting your Medicaid or your Medicare. You normally call your congressperson and say, hey, can you help me do this? You're having a problem with your affordable housing with HUD. You call your congressperson and say, hey, can you help me? You get held hostage in a whole nother country and you stuck there. You call your congressperson and say, hey, help get me back to America. These are things your congressperson does.
Oh, but see, and those are true, and those are regular citizen concerns. But for everything that's in Texas 18, these people who are owning corporations in Texas 18, when you were not able to submit for community block grant funding, you were not able to submit for any of the things that were being considered for the budget. Everything went in without Texas 18 being represented, and that's you two billionaires and millionaires who do business in Congressional District 18, and that money is gone.
It's not for you. It's not for you. So it's not even just as you brought up, it's not just for like a regular little person. There are people that there are minority businesses that depend on grants and things like that to do affordable housing in your neighborhood. Maybe your church needs something. They have a nonprofit where they can put affordable housing in the neighborhood that they know is needed there because they're boots on the ground in the neighborhood. They've lost all that funding. So there are programs that were started that need to be renewed every Congress, and it's not renewed because you don't have someone there. And that's also what you.
And one of the things Sheila Jackson Lee did fastidiously every year, working in conjunction with other representatives. But let me tell you, Port of Houston never came up lacking when it was time to figure out what the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers was going to do. They stay fully funded, and they're having to fend for themselves.
And
so
the Port of Houston,
people need to understand.
The Port of Houston is an economy generator in Houston. That's where everything comes in. So people don't understand. We need ports. You don't think about it. We need ports open. We need airports open because commerce comes in and it's how we pay for things. So when you don't have access to that, believe it or not, the cost of everything is going to go up. People can't afford groceries. People can't afford eggs. People can't afford housing. People are being paid an affordable living. Women can't control their bodies. They want to micromanage us. And I've said this. People want to micromanage our vaginas. Let me try to micromanage your penis and see what happens, right? But that's a whole nother conversation for another day. So this is serious. So what happens in Texas will affect you. and you need to be
Yes.
concerned about it. And we are asking you to support us, because to stay away from home for a long time is difficult. So we're going to have to deal with the personal family stuff, right? The fact that I can't see my grandbaby except for on FaceTime. But I mean, like, I have bills to pay, I got a car note. How many of you can be away from your job? Wait, hold, let me finish this statement. Be away from your job and your boss don't pay you, right? And you depend on your job to pay your mortgage or your car note or your lights or your phone or your child's school or whatever. These are the problems that we have. And we've said we'll figure it out later. Right now, we can't stay in Texas because he will create situations where we're arrested. And don't believe his spin, because his spin is a lie. And really,
Right.
when you pull back the curtain on Greg Abbott, he really is like that little bitty man in The Wizard of Oz. It's a whole bunch of stuff on him that's little, and he's compensating for it. But this white fragility, this white privilege is literally going to kill us. And I'm speaking to Black people. Y también estoy hablando con a los latinos. Este país tiene un presidente y él va a tomarnos a otros países
Yeah.
y deportamos y todo. Y él nos odia. And to people who don't speak Spanish, and I do, I'm speaking to any Latinos you have, they understood what I said. But let
That's
me be
right. And
clear.
they're going to see this too. And these are extraordinary expenses beyond, like, all of you who have left. You still got to take care of home and take care of what you need to take care of while you're away. We have been showing underneath that we've been showing and flashing one of the sources that they can give. You can also give to
Yes.
redistricting.com. And we're going to make sure, listen, what you all are doing is drawing attention to an issue that, yes, affects millions of people in Texas, but also affects this world. So we thank you. I know that you got a day stock full of stuff to do, and I'm excited
I
about it, because
do.
if there's one good thing that has come out of it, is we know exactly who Texas State Representative Jolanda Jones is, as we should. As
Well,
we
yes.
should. And I would
And
like to see you, once this is all over, up here handling business in the nation's capital.
I would love to hang out with you. And let me just be clear that people know how to say my name, because I got a made up Black name. My name is Jolanda. It is not Yolanda. And the way that came about is my mom liked Yolanda. My dad's name was John. She took away the Y and added a J. So it is Jolanda, because people massacre my name. And I think names are important. Who our parents make us, name us to be, is important. And so it is Jolanda Jones. So it's JJ.
And we've got you on the screen, jolandajones.com. She's not going to tell us, but she's running for Congress for Texas 18. And we all are going to, those people who still vote in Texas, have some decisions to be made. But, I'm with Black women every single time. So you know where I stand.
What's your
From the
shirt
great
say?
town of Galveston.
Yeah. So where that's at? Where's Galveston?
Where? Galveston. That's in
What state is it
Texas.
in? Okay.
That's in Texas. They they
That's
but
my
they
point.
they are they already know about me. they're not
Okay.
they're not they're not confused about me. And
And,
since you
and
can't be home, I'll be going back home very soon. Because
have
we
enough
have
fun for me.
plans to raise all the hell.
Well, have enough fun for me.
I shall. I shall. Thank you so much. We appreciate you.
Thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it. And we got to fight, and we hope you support us. And I'm just so excited and thankful for the love and support I've been shown.
Okay, take care. Stay safe out
Thank you.
there.
You too.
All
Bye bye.
right. Bye-bye. Guys, I'm so appreciative for Texas State Rep Jolanda Jones. Please go look her up, jolandajones.com. Do what you can to support the Texas State Democrats, to support the House, the effort that they're making. This is an effort for the survival of all of us. I care about Texas, you know that I do, but right now, as goes Texas, goes the country. Like what they are trying to do, if they can pull it off there, they're going to try to pull it off other places. Obviously, getting more seats in New York and getting more seats in California does not help the people who are being racially gerrymandered in Texas. It matters so that we can get the balance of power back. I'm not saying that it doesn't, but it matters that we fight this fight in Texas and fight it to win so that the people who are in Texas, 4.3 million of whom are Black, can be adequately represented and have the maps drawn fairly, if fairness is even a thing anymore, if constitutionality is even a thing. The only way it becomes a thing is if we insist upon it. We have to place the demand, right? Thank you so much for joining. Please like this video. Please share it. If you're not yet subscribed to my channel, the Monique Pressley channel, I'm asking that you please do. You can support us by giving. I'm sure it's been going under the screen the whole time. You can support us on Cash App. You can support us on PayPal. You can support us by being in the super chat here on YouTube. No gift too great or too small. We appreciate them all, but we most appreciate you sharing the information you learn here, you taking your own platform and using it so that we can all be in the arena in this fight together. Until next time, stay safe out there.